Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're doing something different, yes! Okay, so maybe it's not so exciting, but maybe it is. Today I'm doing something which I guess is kind of part of the Forgotten Pond series. I got speaking to one of the local farmers recently who owned some of the land that I was actually fishing on where I shouldn't have been fishing, and he allowed me to fish it. And I realised on that land he has what I would consider to be a swamp. I asked him about it. He told me it's no more than about 3 foot deep all over, apart from one little deep hole in the middle, and suspected there's not really much in it at all. So what I'm going to do is today I'm going to explore that pond. It's given me special permission. This is private land, there's no public access, no public right of way, and this pond basically has never been legitimately fished before, and hopefully I'm going to see if there's any fish in it today. Well, I think it's time to get some fishing done. I'm on the banks now, and I've got to wear these chest waders, and that's because the reed line that goes all around this swampy area is completely full of water, and if I don't wear waders, I can't really fish it. Now, I've spoken to the farmer about how deep this thing is and if there's any fish in it, and he's told me essentially over the entire of this pond, this swampy area, it's all about 3 foot deep, the entire thing, which doesn't fill me with much confidence, and it's also super snaggy, and I can see down the bottom end we've essentially got a sunken woodland or forest where it's just tree branches over the entire thing. So God knows if we'll find anything in here today. And in terms of if there's any fish in here, he did tell me many years ago he used to see some nice carp swimming around, including some nice ornamental style ghost koi and things like that, and since then they've all vanished. But he did tell me it's been subjected to poaching, and he actually believes that some of these fish were taken to go to other fisheries. People came and stole them essentially. And I find it quite interesting when you speak to people in urban locations about natural venues losing fish stock, people will generally tell you that they believe it's Eastern Europeans that are taking the fish, whereas you come to a more rural location like this and you speak to people about fish theft, it's generally fisheries stealing from other waters. Most of the time it's fisheries stealing from natural venues. Trust me, I've heard it 1,000 times. I've heard of people taking carp from the canals to move to syndicate waters. And like this swamp, for example, the farmer very confidently believes that those fish were taken to move to a syndicate water. I've even heard of commercial fisheries netting sections of canal and taking chub. But it's all the speculation, you didn't hear it from me. Like I say, it's been subject to poaching, so God knows if there's even anything in here. 3 foot deep all over. It was frozen yesterday. See if we can get anything. Tricked you. I got stuck on a tree stump. Oh, there we go. Pike. Oh, I spooked off. Damn it. Yes, there was a pike in here. I'll chuck the fire tiger down and we'll go out with this bait. Come on. That looks irresistible. Yep. Oh no. Don't think it took it very well. Well, it's probably not going to come as much of a surprise to you guys, but the abandoned swamp with unknown fish stocks has currently produced me absolutely nothing. I've worked that entire half of this pond here, and it's about this deep, and there's absolutely no structure whatsoever. Not a piece of weed, not a stick, nothing, and no fish at all to show for it. But we're now going to get into an area which I think is really promising. As you can see here, we've got a bit of a start of a tree graveyard. These branches and stumps everywhere, for about 60, 70 yards. And I'm hoping this is maybe a refuge for these fish. Now I've got to obviously fish a heavy setup when I get to areas like this, which is why I'm using the Savage Gear SG8 Alpha, rated up to 140 grams. I'm using obviously slightly smaller baits than what I've been fishing recently. I'm only really expecting jacks from here, but you never really know. And I'm going to be using things like this, jerk bait, deviated tail to try and get some reaction strikes. I've also got a glide bait and a swim bait I've been casting around as search baits to try and find these fish. I've just had a bit of action off one just down here, so I'm hoping this is going to be the area for them. Come on, let's go get some. I thought it was going to be a bit deeper around here, but I'm not sure it is. I think the water's more coloured around this area. Yeah, it's definitely not deeper. Damn it. Oh no, there was a fish. I wasn't even looking, I wasn't paying any kind of attention whatsoever. No, I was daydreaming. The pike slammed it and was holding on to it for a good second or two before I even struck. By that point it had let go. It's not going to come back now. Damn it. Oh, I need to be on the ball. Wake up, Chris. Oh, I think that was a snag. No, that's a pike. It took it twice. Yes, I don't think that's the one I just lost though. Yes! Have we found the fish now, finally? Come on, and he nailed... Oh, that's a decent sized one for the swamp. I think he hit it twice. Yes! And my net's back here. Don't come off, he's only just hooked. That was on the cool shad. The brand new Berkeley cool shad. Fire tiger pattern in the mucky water. Just had a take from a fish right in front of me. Unfortunately, I didn't get the hook up, and the next cast out we've gone and got one. And it's not a bad size fish actually. To say this water is an average depth of about 3 foot all over, I'll take that any day. Come on. Oh, he's hooked on the outside of the mouth with one of the hooks. Gonna have to be careful here. God, he's a scrapper. I'll take him any day. Come on. Right, in the net this time, and then we're going to have to unhook him really quickly. Why he's going to get himself tangled up and potentially hurt himself. Yes! God, that is a decent pike. Like I say, we're going to have to unhook him really, really quickly before he gets himself wrapped up. There we go. God, look at the length of that. That's probably a pike of 95 plus centimetre, probably maybe getting on for 100 centimetre, but he's really not very fat at all. Yes. What a fish. Well guys, when I came out to fish this swamp today, I did not expect to catch a pike of that kind of calibre. Now, it's not a monstrous pike in terms of weight, but look at the length of that fish. That's got to be at least 95 centimetre, and it's an absolute stunner. In fact, I'd probably put it a little bit longer than that, maybe between 95 and 100. Getting on for a metre anyway. Look at that, absolutely huge, but not much of a belly on it. It's in a swamp. There probably isn't a huge amount of forage for these fish. I had a hit, I struck, missed it, and then bang, straight away this fish nailed it again. Hungry fish, and that is absolutely awesome. Look at the size of the head on that, what a beast. Nailed the cool shad. There was a bit of a darker water around here. Decided to put on a brighter, larger bait, and it paid off. Get in. Go on then, big lady. You can go now. Now I genuinely think that the first fish that hit it in front of me was a different fish to that one we just caught. Now even though, I've got a bit of blood in my knuckles there, look. Now even though it was the fire tiger pattern that's got me those takes, what I'm going to do is change over bait. I did that earlier on up there where a small jack had taken me bait, and I changed over to what's called the Nessie. It's a Berkeley Nessie. Basically a big soft glide bait, has a really beautiful natural action, and because we already had one hit it but not get hooked up, I'm going to chuck out this natural pattern Nessie, and hopefully we might be able to get another take from this same spot. Pike. The pike did follow it. I knew there was another one out there. Just followed it. Yeah, it's going to take it. It's going to take it. It's a similar size to the one we just caught. It's a good sized fish actually. It's nose down. Come on. Whoa! What a hit! Another pike! Oh my god! On the Nessie. What a hit! Yes, it's not quite as big as the one we just caught, but I knew there was another one out there. God, they pull so hard. These fish have possibly never been caught before, and you can tell by the way they fight. Oh my god. God, that is explosive. Oh! Yes, just changed over to that natural bait, a glide bait. It's the Berkeley Nessie, and a fish in just a few casts after I just caught the last one. This one looks like it's hooked a lot better than the last one, so hopefully we don't have to worry about it when it's in the net. God, it's a good sized fish again. Oh yes, yes, 2 doubles in about 5 casts. And that one's a fat one, not as long as that last one, but this one's chunky. God, yeah, head's about the same size and all. Look at that hook hold, and look at the size of the mouth on that. Proper swamp monster. Gonna have to get the pliers on that. They're not in my pocket actually, they're in my bag on my back. It's the last thing you want is when you're pike fishing to lose your pliers, don't you? Look at that, absolutely nailed it. I'm hooked in the net now, so I'm gonna have to be careful there. Yes! Now I definitely think I underappreciated this pike when it first went into the net, because now I've actually got my hands on it, it is a real decent fish. It's probably a similar length to the last one we caught, getting on for a metre. I would say probably about a metre, and this one's really fat, much fatter than the last one. This is probably a pike of about 14 pound, 15 pound. Absolutely stunning, nailed it right in front of me. That one was on the Berkeley Nessie, which is a more natural pattern soft glide bait with a really nice natural action. It followed it in and absolutely nailed it at my feet. And I can't believe it. I've really struggled up until this point. I didn't actually think there was going to be anything in here. It's only a metre deep, this little swamp pond. But there is obviously some fish in here. Where there is water, you will almost definitely find pike. And this one's absolutely stunning. We'll get her well rested nice as a nice chunky female, and we'll get her back. Yes! Oh, absolutely stunning pike. Now what I love almost as much as catching the fish themselves is sometimes the way I catch them. And when I say I've got a little plan in my mind on how I'm going to catch one particular fish, and then I do that and it works, it feels amazing. And obviously I had a hit when I first turned up to this spot on the fire tiger bait. That fish didn't actually come back again after that until I changed over to the Nessie, which was a more natural action bait. It had a really nice natural looking pattern to it, and hey presto, within 2 or 3 casts we nailed it, and it was a good sized fish too. Let's get cracked on and see if we can find any more. Well, I'm going out there now with a different bait. We're sticking to the fire tiger pattern since the water's really coloured. This one now, really loud rattle because the water is quite dirty around here. And fingers crossed, with a deviated tail I might be able to find a couple more fish. And I'll do exactly the same as before. If we get a fish strike it, miss or lose one, we'll change over to the Nessie, more natural pattern, natural action, and try and clean up. Let's get moving. This is obviously a very aggressive action to what I've just been using. I've been working the paddle tail bait very, very slowly in amongst the snags to try not to get snagged up as best as possible. And I'm using a jerk bait, a very aggressive action, that if I jerk it into a snag, he's probably going to get very, very, very snagged up. But we'll see what we can do. Looks so good in the water. Something at the side's going to absolutely smash it. There we go, there's another one. What was I just saying? And it's only a tiny fish, a little tiny jack pike. But I'll take that when I've been struggling. Finally found the fish. Isn't it funny though how the jack pike just happened to come to the more aggressive bait? If I net that thing, he's going to get so wrapped up he's going to really injure himself. We're going to be really careful here. Alright, alright. These wild pike that haven't been caught too often are generally really, really aggressive. You have to be really careful here. Look, he's got one hook just through the back of the gill plate. And then one hook right in the scissor. It couldn't get much better than that. Just give me hook back. His teeth were clamping down on it. Look at that little jack pike. Put on a jerk bait, you know them jack pike are going to get fired up, man. And these fish are just covered in leeches all over him. It's only shallow. Wicked bit of sport. Straight back you go, mister. When you release those jack pike quickly, they don't really need a rest. I've seen comments before on my videos blasting me about just putting pike straight back after I've caught them and they need a rest. But if you're fishing a still water or a slack water on a river and you catch a small jack pike, the best thing to do, I think, is to get them back. I think it actually stresses them out more keeping them in the net. If you just unhook them and drop them straight back, no pictures, there's no issues. Whoa, what a hit, what a hit. Yes. Not a big fish. Not a big fish. It's only a jack, but my God, it absolutely crushed it. When I hooked this one, there's another big swirl right close to it. It might not have been a pike, right? It could have been something else like a carp or, oh my God, look at the state of that. And there we go. Unhooked. Give me a purple kiss. Fish on. Fish on. Still absolutely crushed the Nessie. Whoa, super aggressive as well. Yes. Absolutely perfect. On the Nessie as well, once again. I'm not going to get the big camera out for it, but once again, that's an absolutely stunning, fin perfect little wild pike. Receiving what I imagine is very, very little pressure. And I've given him the most terrible release. So as you can tell, it's getting a bit darker now and the wind's really picked up. I don't know if there's a storm coming, so I'm probably going to start thinking about packing up soon. I started off this session really skeptical. After sending the drone up, you could tell this pond has almost no water in it for a pond of this size. It's probably about 4 acres, but only about 3 foot deep over the entirety of the whole thing. I could probably wade across most of it. And for the first 2 hours, I had almost no signs of action whatsoever until I finally got to the wooded area. And this is obviously where the fish were finding refuge. The bait fish are probably finding refuge, and therefore the pike are here too. In and amongst all those fallen tree stumps, it's horrible for fishing, but man, those fish were there. And catching 2 double-figure pike pretty much back to back. I probably slightly overestimated the size of those 2 fish, but they were both doubles and they put up an amazing fight. I've caught on every single style of bait I've got today. I've caught on jerk baits, I've caught on glide baits, I've caught on paddle tail swim baits. I'm going to leave all of those down in the description below so you can check them out. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching the video. If you want to subscribe, if you want me to come back here sometime in the future, maybe do some top water frogging or try for a different species in the warm, whatever, let me know and I'll ask the farmer if I can come back. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you guys later.